Hello and welcome back to Arts of Rally and welcome back to my channel for the 12th weekly rally event. This time we go back to Kenya, but are equipped with a much faster Group A Toyota Celica SD185 GT4 lookalike, of course, legally distinct, and yeah, pretty late. It's currently 2 in the afternoon. I'm just recording voiceover just after finishing it. Pretty mature leaderboards. However, this one turned out to be a bit of a mixed bag. I felt comfortable with this car, but it wouldn't stop me from making silly errors. It's four-wheel drive, got plenty of power. The back end can be controlled. The way it steps out is very controlled, I suppose. Very. I trust it. I'll put it this way. I'll trust that it'll slide the way it feels like it would. It's not twitchy. It's essentially any errors would be entirely my fault. Foreshadowing, of course, for the inevitable hunting trip for once. Unusually. But yeah, here I am, just going along the first route. Pretty comfortable, pretty confident. Expecting... Okay, this is pretty late in the week, so obviously it's not going to be blistering in comparison. But expecting a solid result nonetheless. However, one crucial error, turned in too quick, noticed the barrier and ended up phasing through some antelopes. And in all my time playing this game, this is actually the first time I've ended up throwing myself into animals. And I never really realized they don't have a hitbox. I expected them to be a solid, like a barrier, but no. So a quick shift to reverse and a J-turn meant that we could minimize losses, but losses were plentiful, and thus we are 83rd in a 2-minute run. And the sun sets, and it becomes night as we head to the second stage. Now, I realized that this was a bit of a clumsy error from my part on the first run, so it didn't hamper my confidence too much. In fact, most of the time loss here, I would perhaps write off as just being night. You know, I like seeing things. I'm sure many. Well, at least if you're not blind, you might enjoy seeing things. And night predictably makes that a little bit difficult. Thus, perhaps confidence might. Well, you need a very precise amount of confidence. At least if you don't quite know the track by heart. I don't. I've driven these courses many times, but it's sort of always more about seat of the pants kind of stuff. Just vibing along it as we go. Now, this night track was longer, so it being also obviously dark and tough to see, I expected, if I just persevered and, well, didn't make any glaring errors, left skill issues at minor, you know, the usual stuff, just poor lines, poor braking zone. I would say I'm feeling I'm pretty confident in my throttle control. My braking and steering, not so much. I suppose it might be because I'm right-handed, and well, sort of throttle is the only thing I do with my right hand. It's sort of, well, that's how controllers ended up being. Brake with my left trigger and steer with my left thumb on the analog stick. I just about kept it with the track here. A really fast bit, heading with a really slow bit through Water Splash. But yeah, if you've been following my channel along, you might have noticed I switched to daily uploads, but after a while I just it didn't seem to work out. So I took a little break, 2 days off of no uploads. Actually, I had two, according to Analytics, I had only 2 views yesterday. Interesting, but very much expected. It's actually the worst day since uploading, but you know, these days it's sort of expected, so I'm not really surprised. But yeah, I also ended up falling ill. I'm still kind of getting better. So it's the second half of it. It's the epilogue part of my illness. I'm not going to use it as an excuse. I didn't really feel. I feel good today. It's been going since Monday, so it shouldn't be a problem. And yeah, chugging along. 3 minutes in. The end is not far off. So far, it's been a decent. At least in my opinion, it's a decent midfield run. Nothing special, nothing extraordinarily good or bad, just kind of mediocre. I don't really know. I don't really know what counts as good in this game. Yeah, I'm far off of the competition, of course, but you know, there's also a lot of cars behind me. Maybe I'm just putting myself down too much. Of course, it's very possible. Anyway, just managed to stay within the 4 minutes, and for our efforts, we've climbed places up to 56th. For the third one, it would be another long rally, and from dark, where we couldn't see, we moved to rain, where we couldn't. This would put my throttle control to the test. I think I might. You see, I think I'm lose less speed in the rain. I've always found myself a little bit better than normal, as evidenced by at least my Germany leader was. Perhaps let's say the optimal pace on dry is 100%, and I don't know, in the rain it would be 60, whereas I would be like 80 in the dry and 50 in the rain. So the gap between optimum is sort of less than it would be in the dry. It's obviously not like exact numbers. It's just I'm talking absolute nonsense here. Sort of it can't be understood. You know, if you vibe with it, yeah, that's kind of it really. Normally the way I like to run with rain infested, rainy courses, it's just I prefer to dodge bottles. Like, I don't even know if it's optimal. Speaking of, actually never mind, this is a different corner. Yeah, I don't know if it's the optimal one to avoid them. I'm sure it would be I'm sure it is in low speed sections, but with the penalty of high speed ones being reduced, and another blaring error followed where I just turned in too late, ended up going wide and copying myself a beautifully bad 5-second penalty, and of course coupled with the time loss of going wide and then having to, well, reset the car, would end up with me losing a lot of time. But errors, well, everyone can make errors. It's just that I may be more susceptible to them, but mistakes aren't exclusive to me. So, because this was a rainy track, and because this was a very long track, it didn't really bother me as much as it did in the dry. I knew others could do the same thing. It's a split-second decision, and on a long track like this, plenty of opportunity. for others to do the same thing, or at least something very similar. Here I expertly navigate my way through both puddles, getting two script both on the apex that I completely missed and the exit as well. Suboptimal, just like the rest of the run, but perhaps more so than usual. Though I did know I shouldn't keep making any mistakes if I wanted to remain anywhere near top 50. I knew I had to be careful not to make any mistakes, but I also started pushing a little bit more, perhaps abusing sort of less confidence and more belief that it will grip. And I had time to make up. It was a long track, and maybe I could end up overtaking someone. You know, it's not yet the end of the world. The course isn't over until it's over. Of course, it's not going to be a record. I wasn't going to beat any top players. But if I draw with confidence, I could beat someone perhaps, or lose to less people, and I gained a position. Ended up making a big mistake and still remained where I am. Better, in fact. One play better. And it's sort of the deal with perseverance as we head into the last stage, a quick dash through the lake. I knew it was a short one. There wasn't a lot left, so I sort of, elected, you know what, I've tried to be careful, but for this one, I know it's a fast track, I've driven here before, I'm just going to go as much as I can, essentially do as little as possible to make sure I remain on track. Normally I would have braked more maybe there, so I at least don't cut the track, but for this one, not long left, just throw everything that I've got left to secure something a little bit more impressive than 55th. Not that it would have been impressive either way. A bit of a squirrely moment through there, but perhaps lost quite a bit of time, but the rest I think was pretty decent. 3 jumps, 2 which are done, and for the last one, crossing a bit on grass as well. And 40 minutes. We've climbed back within top 50. Where could we been were it not for the errors, where I just been a little bit more careful? I would estimate maybe within top 40. Let's check out the look at the leaderboards, see how much time we could have gained. I think top 40 would have been doable. But yeah, for that was week 12 of my series. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, leave a comment, perhaps even subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.